Are we ready? What are you waiting on? Rolling, rolling. Chris Paul is rolling through the playoffs to the finals. Paul George, somebody stole him. Yeah, he put up 14. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It is your host, T Bloom, back with another T Bloom Talk Show, NBA style podcast. I am your host, of course, T underscore Bloom. You can follow me on Twitter or at me on Facebook. I don't know if it's at search me on Facebook, T underscore Bloom Talk Show. You won't be disappointed. Today's episode is coming at you live, and it's coming at you fast, and it's coming at you hard. I think you're going to want to stick around for this one. Now, I didn't have any time. I've been busier than a Friday on a Friday. Fridays on a Fridays. Wow. Fuck that one up. Anyway, been busier than shit, and I couldn't come up with the outline for topics today, but I'm just going to go straight off the dome because today's a big day. We know who the big day is for, and it's another big day for who? Chris Paul. His last big day didn't turn out to be his actual big day, so I had to bring up the fact that today is in fact his big day. I was a little bit wrong. I thought the series would go 4-1, and yes, I'm talking about the Phoenix Suns versus the LA Clippers. If you didn't know, the Phoenix Suns won 103 to 130 last night. Well, they got 130. Clippers obviously got 103 to move on to their first NBA Finals since 1993. Stop. What does that mean? That Chris Paul goes to his first NBA Finals. Devin Booker goes to his first NBA Finals. DeAndre Ayton goes to his first NBA Finals. I mean, there's a lot of players here other than Chris Paul. As much of credit I would like to give to Chris Paul here, there's a lot of players, a lot of younger players that are going to their first finals who have the potential to pass some stars that we may think never be passed. First off, Devin Booker. My buddy Stephen A. Smith over there at ESPN gave the take that, hey, maybe he's the next Kobe. I wouldn't go that far, but I wouldn't go that far back either. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the Phoenix Suns go to the finals and they beat whoever they face, which I think they will. Devin Booker gets his first NBA ring at the age of 24. Stop. How many rings did Kobe have at the age of 24? I'm pretty sure he had 3. I think he three-peated by then. Or at least 2. I know he had at least 2. Devin Booker's best player that he's playing with right now is Chris Paul. Not even close. Chris Paul is a great player. Is he better than Shaq in his prime? Is he better than Kobe Bryant's Shaq in Shaq's prime? I'm a Chris Paul fan. I would argue to the death that he is just as good as Shaq was. In some sense, I would have to pull out some statistics. My point is here, it is very hard to argue that Shaq wasn't more dominant than Chris Paul. What I'm getting at here, Kobe had a little bit more help. Shaq's a big amount of help. That's a big guy. So maybe the comparisons are a little bit more parallel than you guys might be thinking. Again, we'll see if Devin Booker and the Chris Paul led Phoenix Suns can do it, but I think they can. Let's talk about Paul George and the Clippers now. Where does this leave them? And the Clippers left with a very sour taste in their mouth after last night's game, losing at home after coming back and beating us. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say us because I'm technically media now. Sorry, folks. Beating the Phoenix Suns at home, game 5 to send it to game 6 at Staples Center. Now, Patrick Beverley shoves Chris Paul in the back, blindsides him. I'm not sure if Chris Paul said anything. It didn't look like to me that he really said anything. He probably said, bitch or ho. I mean, use your imagination on that one. And Patrick Beverley was probably pissed because he likes to dish out a lot of trash talk himself. And sometimes when you can dish it, you can't take it. And that's pretty much what we've seen there. So I wonder where he stands with the league next year. I wonder if he even coming back with the Clippers next year. And where does this leave Paul George? Is his time in LA done, or do they run it back with Kawhi next year after he comes back from? Well, I'm assuming he's probably going to get surgery at this point if the season's over. So I mean, I don't know if you do. I don't know if you do. I mean, the argument could be made, hey, if you had Kawhi, you would have went to the finals this year. I disagree. I think we still beat them. I think it'd be definitely a tougher series, but I think we definitely still beat them. But the beauty of it is you can't tell. You can't tell me I'm right. You can't tell me I'm wrong. Just like I can't tell you you're right, but I can definitely tell you you're wrong. I'm just kidding. It's a little bit of jokes. Like I said, we're off script. It's going to get a little crazy in here today. Questions arise in LA after last night's defeat. We're going to move on to the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Trae Youngless Hawks. We just got word that Giannis will not be playing in tonight's game for the Milwaukee Bucks, out with that knee. Crazy how he didn't tear anything. That just speaks to his preparation in the offseason and what he does in the offseason to make sure injuries like this don't get out of hand, and it is a manageable situation. That's actually an interesting topic. You guys look up what stretching can do for you on the daily. It's honestly a magical thing, but we'll save that for another podcast. Maybe I'll get into a T Bloom stretching talk show one day. We'll see. But anyway, Milwaukee Bucks versus the Trae Youngless Hawks. I don't think he's playing today, but the Trae Youngless and the Giannis Antetokounmpo list. That's a tough one. Milwaukee Bucks going at each other, and this takes the fun out of it, right? I mean, there's really no star play. I mean, Chris Middleton, yeah, he's good. It's not like a star or anything, but the Hawks really have nobody. I mean, Bohan's exciting. I remember I gave that guy crap a couple weeks back, but he's an exciting player. I mean, when he gets hot, he gets hot. He gets rolling. I still don't think he's the number 2 that Trae Young's going to need to advance to the finals or even win the finals. But I mean, he's exciting. I guess a lot of people will get a chance to really sit back and get to watch him. You got guys like Clint Capella, Jrue Holiday will be out there. It's not what you want to see in a game 6 of a Eastern Conference Finals. Chris Middleton versus Bojan Bogdanovic coming at you 6 p.m. Doesn't ring off the tongue very well. Now, if I were to say Trae Young versus Giannis Antetokounmpo, tune in 6 p.m. Rolls off the tongue like the Spanish R, like the rrr, you know what I mean? But what do I think about this game? That's a good question that you bring up. It's a great question that you bring up. I know you're bringing it up because I know my viewers. I think the Bucks are going to take this one, but I don't think it's going to be by a lot. I think it'll be a close game. It's just the Hawks are thin without Trae Young. I mean, they really are all out. Not many options on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't see how they can keep up with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are a little deeper, which is going to prove fruitful for them in this game. And if Trae Young doesn't come back, then I just don't see the Hawks winning another game. I don't. I mean, I could be wrong. I have been wrong before, but I've also been right before. But yeah, anyway, it will not be a very long podcast today, folks. I'm sorry. I will be back again next week, though, for another official T Bloom talk show, NBA style podcast. We're going to be breaking down the finals, who's where, what's what, and that's that. I'm your host, T Bloom, signing out. Sayonara. Until next time.